So I'm here to give a complete start to finish demonstration on how to create a lip gloss formula from scratch. I'll also be giving some business and legal tips to ensure that you know some really key important things about the cosmetic industry, and also how to take your products to the next level while ensuring that you remain compliant with FDA regulations. And what my company does is we provide consulting services to those that are in the industry. You may already have your business, or you may be looking to start, and we help you with branding, anything to do with reviewing your website, just even if you need someone to bounce ideas off of, but making sure that you are producing products that are 100% compliant with FDA guidelines. Right now, I am in my crafting space. I make different jewelry and cosmetics as a hobby, and that's why I'm also into my consulting work. I have worked abroad, internationally, and I've worked domestically in the United States as a business consultant, but I just have a love for cosmetics, so I like to do this crafting or formulating on my own. And I don't sell my products, but I use them for myself, and because I do use them for myself, I'm very well aware of how to do things the right way, and since I consult, I know how to do things the legal way. One thing you have to know is that FDA approval does not mean compliance with the FDA, the FTC, or just in general different regulations specifically for specified or tailored to the cosmetic industry. And the information is very hard to find. It's not always easily accessible, but it is there, and it does apply to everyone, whether your company may be on the smaller scale or the indie brand, or you do have a large company. So today I thought it would be fun because lip gloss is just really popular right now. It's pretty much a low barrier or no barrier to entry to start, but you want to start the right way, and that's how you gain a competitive advantage. It's not by followers, it's not by social media likes, is by having a formula in this. And that also becomes really important when you go to, like I have these custom boxes, you go to making custom boxes or custom tubing, it's not possible for you to do that because if you don't have a formula, you can't list your products by the INCI name, which is globally recognized, as well as having the CAS, CAS. So if you sourced your products, you might have seen something like that. And you also, you have no legal right to make claims on what your product can do. Whether you say your product is moisturizing, whether you say it's anti-aging, or it's an exfoliant, you have no proof because you have no formula. And you also have to make sure you have things like a safety data sheet, and I'll insert a clip of me showing an example of that. And you also need to have your certificate of analysis to show what your products do. You need to save these sheets for your records because it'll give you every detail about the product you need for legal reasons. You never know if a person can become allergic to your products, especially if you may be just putting your ingredient list as, I don't know, coconut oil. You'll put your ingredients: coconut oil, lip gloss base, jojoba oil, and love. Let's just say those are your ingredients. That is not in compliance, and if someone gets an allergic reaction, you are legally liable for whatever may happen because you have not listed the approved chemical names of your raw materials, and you also have violated FDA, the FARs regarding misbranding and misleading products, and you've violated the FAR Code of Federal Regulations of the ingredients list and how you have to specify the directions. There are 11. In the ebook, I go in detail about these, but you've also violated false advertising with the FTC. This is a huge one, and it applies to whether you're doing it on social media, whether you have website copy, and you are, again, false advertising. And I know it may seem very trivial, but this is what can really catch your business up, especially if you are popular, you may be well known, but you don't have the groundwork of the legal requirements, you could lose everything. You could lose everything because you have not gone through and set up your business the correct way. The good thing about this is that if you don't have formulas, you can create them. If you know your base ingredients are lip gloss base or your own lip gloss base that you've made, all you have to do is get your measurements. Every formula must equal 100%. That is the only way you can scale. And if you are, let's just say you're putting a dash of this and a dash of that, that is not a formula, it's a recipe, and you cannot sell recipes. You cannot sell finished product as recipes. They must be formulas and they must be able to scale, because again, we need to know when we list this INCI code, like I have here just written down on my phases of the product, it's by hierarchical order. So you have to list your products by that. If you look at any product that you buy, I mean lip gloss, soap, toothpaste, that is how it is listed, and everyone must comply. This also helps because you need to have a recall procedure. Again, I go through all of this in my ebook, but you must have a recall procedure. It doesn't matter what you're selling, because if anyone gets an allergic reaction, you have to be able to, one, trace all of your ingredients. That's why you need a source of where your ingredients come from, a verified source. And this is also caution that if you're buying your bases from someone and they can't give you the INCI code, they can't tell you exactly what's in the base, you're just buying the base, you are liable for whatever happens after you rebottle that product, even if you just add your own colors to that product. And that is really, really, really delicate legal territory, and you don't want to get any lawsuits because you were not in compliance, because they don't care. They're just going to ask you, why weren't you in compliance? And that's not what we want. Formula has one phase. I'll also be changing my gloves because I have a little hole in the thumb, but everything has been cleaned. Another note is that if you're looking to learn how to clean your workspace, you can use sanitizing tablets. If you don't want to do a 10% bleach solution, I would never recommend you use these disinfecting wipes, because they leave traces of bacteria. You can also do microbial tests. I have a link, I'll leave it in the description, and I would highly recommend you do microbial testing, because it will show you yeast, mold, it'll show you everything. You get about 10 for $35, but it'll show you, especially if you're keeping your formulas in Tupperwares and just storing them around the house, or if you are reusing these syringes, which are not supposed to be reused, you really have to do microbial tests. Also, if you're just washing your materials out, you really have to do microbial testing, because I can guarantee you have germs. But these tablets, they kill everything from HIV to MRSA to E. coli. And you can spray down your workspace, you can use it to spray down your tools, soak your tools, wipe them off and clean them, and just have that peace of mind knowing that you're good. So without further ado, let's get started.
Have to do our verification. Now we know these are safe ingredients, but we have to verify. Never take anything at face value when it comes to your business. So the first thing we're going to look at for today, we can search for, let's just say, preservative cap 2. Okay, so this is similar to the phenol SA, and they just call it preservative cap 2, but the structure and the function is basically the same. Now if you go in here, I don't know if you've ever scrolled to the bottom, you'll see the ingredients. How they have their ingredients listed here is how you should have them listed in your ingredients section on your products on your website. This is a mandatory thing. If you are selling bases and you say, well, I don't want people to know what I have in my products, or I want to keep it secret, it's you're operating under legal terms, because you have to always reveal. And it's not good enough if you're just saying you have castor oil or coconut oil. You have to name which type you are using, which form, and that can only be done by the universal INCI code that you're using. And now the CAS is going to be the chemical the chemical, let's say it'll just be like the chemical patent of the ingredient that is globally recognizable too. And those don't have to be included in your ingredient list, but you need to have that information for your records. Okay, so if you see here, they have the details, they have the recommended usage percentage based on the product you're using, and it's recommended that you use 0.8 to 1%. So we can say maybe 2 drops per 4 ounce of your product. Let's just throw that out there, okay? If you were trying to do for your product, but you always have to test to make sure that is sufficient, to make sure everything is preserved in your products. Then you'll see something called documents. You'll see SDS, which is safety data sheets, and you'll see COA. These are PDF forms I would highly recommend saving for all of your formulas. Just hold a file. You can title it, lip gloss, and you just save every single safety data sheet as COA for every ingredient you have. And the legitimate sites will always have this on their site under their products. And if they don't have it, you send them an email and request it, and I would not buy a product unless they did. It's showing you what it is, the product identifier. It's showing the identified uses, cosmetic raw material. You'll see the classifications and pretty much everything you would need. It shows you the INCI here, the CAS, and it shows the hazardous ingredients. So these are things that you must note, because I listed them in my book, and I highly recommend you get the book for this purpose. I break it completely down, but you need to know if you have hazardous ingredients, because the FDA requires you to list everything you have. This is also why you must reveal all of your ingredients in your INCI. You don't have to give percentages. You don't have to tell them how you made it, but you must list what is in it, and that's non-negotiable. It shows you methods for cleaning up the product. It shows you the appearance, the consistency, the color, if it has any odors. It gives you everything you would need. And so that's your safety data sheet. The next is the certificate of analysis. And also with these forms, you'll see based on certain states like California, it'll show you toxicity restrictions that you can sell the product in that state or not. And that's a really big thing to note. It'll show you the product name for the certificate of analysis from the representative sample that they've tested. It shows you at what degree they tested it at, if it passed, the shelf life, expiration date. It gives you everything you need. And of course, these are preservatives, so they wouldn't have shelf life or expiration date. But if you wanted to confirm that, you could email the company and they have to tell you, because you're buying a chemical. So those are things you really need to note, and that will keep you legally protected. The next we have here is our batch size calculator. So for our formula, I have the PDF once again in the description for you, but this makes your formulating so easy. Of course, you can compute these things on your own in an Excel sheet, but it leaves a lot of room for rounding error if you do it manually. So I have a link for a free batch size calculator. And so what you would do is you would enter all of your ingredients. You would enter the batch size volume you'd like and do it in grams. It's just easier that way. So I want to create 28.35 grams, which would be the equivalent of 1 ounce. I would go and select the radio button for grams, and I would just list. Now you see it says 100%. All of your formulas must start at 100%, okay? Or at least your base ingredients. When it comes to adding flavoring oils or preservatives or micas, it's a little bit different because of the molecular weight is very light for these things. However, for safety's sake, if it were me, and from my experience, I would include everything, because when you scale to make larger batches, you don't want to add too little or too less of anything, and you can test the consistency, okay? So always start at 100%. If you're working with tablespoons, a dash of this, a teaspoon of that, start measuring and weighing your ingredients. And with this formula structure, you will always have a consistent formula, whether you make a 16-ounce batch or a 1-ounce test sample. Okay, so we're just going to calculate. You can also print your formula, and it'll give you the conversion instantly. And as you see, instantly, we have 28.35 grams. It gives us in milliliters, in pounds, and it gives us in ounces. Now, let's say we wanted to make 16 ounces of this lip plumping gloss. We have a wholesale order and they want 16 ounces. We can calculate that. We're still at 100% and it'll give us how much in grams we would need. The reason why I state using grams, because when you start to compute how much it costs to make you 1 tube of lip gloss or 20 tubes, you must know this. You have to know this. And there's other factors that go into it. You have to calculate for how much time you put in, how much you want to make per hour, per set of tubes. You can do all of that and find out how much it costs you to make 1 tube of lip gloss or 1 eyeshadow pan, but you should do it in grams because it's just easier that way and it gives you a fair advantage.
So the first thing we have is our scale. Your scale is going to be one of the most important investments you have for your business. This scale is, this is a beginner's friendly scale. We do all of our formulas in grams. This is just easier to calculate as far as overhead. It's easy to calculate. You can literally price your products down to the gram and make sure you're accurate. And it also helps if you've been doing anything like just pouring or squeezing or just mismeasuring anything, that is creating inconsistencies in your products, even if it says the same, and you're cheating your business, but you're also cheating the customer because nothing's ever the same. If you are using tablespoons or teaspoons or anything like that, you can use that to convert into what it would be in grams, but it's just best if you just go ahead and work with the grams. So what I'll start off with first is for our base. Our base is going to consist of jojoba gel. And jojoba gel is a thickener and it's an emollient and it's a wetting agent. And this is what it looks like. It's very viscous. That means it's very thick and sticky. As you can see, it's not going anywhere. And this gel is very similar to TKB Trading's VERSAGEL, and it has no scent. And the only difference is that it's jojoba oil already included in this. Another alternative you have, and this is a little secret, is that you can use natural gel wax. In order to use this, you would have to warm it up and then add your micas and your flavoring and you will be done. But this is the natural gel wax. This is how it looks. It's like a high quality Vaseline, I would say, the texture, but it's made up of castor seed oil, hydrogenated castor oil, beeswax, and carnauba wax, which are the thickeners and the emollients and the softeners. So to make this vegan, you could omit the beeswax and add probably maybe candelilla wax. That's what you can do, but as you can see, there's 2 forms of castor oil here. So if you just put castor oil, we don't know which form, so you have to be very specific. So if you didn't want to use anything like TKB Trading, you could make this on your own, this natural gel wax, or you could use your TKB Trading VERSAGEL. I also have here polyisobutane 250, and this is the less vicious of polyisobutane, or you might see it as hydrogenated polyisobutane. That is the INCI name. There's a polyisobutane 1200, which I will do a video on making a product out of that if you're interested. But this is a low viscosity polymer, moisturizer, and softener. This is what's going to make your formula more smooth, give it that glide, and give it that shine. It's very, I love it. It's very nice. Next, we're going to be using rosehip oil, and I didn't want to use jojoba oil. I have some, but I didn't want to use it. I wanted to use rosehip because rosehip is fast absorbing. It's an emollient, it's soothing, and it has anti-wrinkle properties. And today's product is a lip plumper, so we want the lips to be smooth, flawless, and that's what I love. And rosehip oil is very fast absorbing. It's not going to give a greasy feel. Following that, this is our lip plumping agent. This is Volip. They also have a product called Lipeptide, which is another form of lip plumper. You could also use menthol crystals. I have all the alternatives in the PDF that I'll give you, free recipe or free formula, sorry. And this is going to give you that like tingle. It doesn't have the mint feel, but it definitely has like the buzzing type of feel. And it has hydrogenated polyisobutane in it, methyl nicotinate, and it has some ginger, soybean oil, and a little bit of pepper. So it's not burning, but it definitely gives you that buzzing feel, like you can feel your lips tingling. It's really nice. And what I love about buying these products is that anywhere you go, it'll tell you a recommended usage percentage. You must abide by that, because too much or too less, you may not feel it, and too much, it will not make your product work well. Another mention when it comes back to this jojoba gel, if you're buying pre-made bases and you've ever experienced, let's say you try to add your own oils and it didn't blend, and you just felt like your formula fell apart, a lot of it's because certain ingredients are not miscible with other ingredients. For example, this jojoba gel is not miscible with triglyceride, castor oil, and dimethicone. So if I try to add dimethicone 500, it would instantly ruin this solution. Okay, but it works good with jojoba oil, polyisobutene, isooctane, and mineral oil. So it shows you what the compatibility options are. Next, we'll add vitamin E acetate tocopherol. So you may see people may put in their products, I just use vitamin E. There are different variations of vitamin E oil, and you must list what you have, which comes back to listing your products by INCI. But this vitamin E D-alpha tocopherol acetate, which is the name for it, this is going to be added to our oil phase of the formula, or just phase A. And the reason why we use it is because it makes our product less acidic. This form of vitamin E, it gives us a longer shelf life with some protection. And the phenolic hydroxyls, they're blocked. So like I said, it just makes it less acidic than if you use regular vitamin E tocopherol. Vitamin E tocopherol acetate it's clear. It's a little bit thick, but the tocopherol needs to be refrigerated, and it has a dark amber, similar to this color. It has a really dark amber appearance. Next, we're going to be adding our phenol SA as our broad spectrum preservative. If you are not using any type of broad spectrum preservative, instantly an antioxidant is not a broad spectrum preservative. So you need to have a specifically designated broad spectrum preservative, especially when you are using products that are in jars, like lip scrubs, creams, even lip gloss, because you can get out of the pool and put on your lipstick, and now it has water molecules, and that spores mold. So you really need this, especially if you are using a water-based product. Then we have our flavoring oils. And last but not least, we have our micas. So today what I'm going to do is introduce some inference colors. So if you're looking for some new colors, inference colors are a great way to start. A lot of people just use glitter. That would be a separate video, but a lot of people use glitter, but you don't have to use glitter. You can use inference colors to actually make the colors look better and give more depth and dimension and variability and variety using inference colors, and make your product stand out and be, I guess, more broad for different people to use versus just glitter. Okay, so and you need very low quantities of these inference colors. And I also added I brought these liquid pigments. So if you didn't know, most liquid pigments are dispersed in a carrier oil such as castor oil. Now we know that our jojoba gel can't work with castor oil, and a lot of times castor oil in these gels or the bases are just not compatible, or to make them softer, or just adding a bunch of oil. Sometimes you just need a light oil in a polyisobutane or something like that. But this will instantly ruin our formula and make it streaky, make our pigments separate. So if you experience that, chances are you're using a product or an oil that is not compatible with your base. And all you have to do is, omit this and try it again, and you'll see. So I just wanted to bring that for that. And we have our tubes. These are tubes that I got. They're holographic 4 ml tubes. I got these from my vendor on Alibaba, and then I have this custom box, and this is just customized to just a little project I was working on, and we'll be putting the glosses in there. And the boxes are holographic too, so it's pretty cute. So let's get started. Okay, so I've measured everything and I have all of my ingredients here. And then you can see in this jar it says phase A. We have our jojoba gel here. I'm only making 1 ounce of product, and you can see how vicious it is. It's very sticky. Next, we'll add our hydrogenated polyisobutane. Okay, you see that's clear. For some people, it's very important to have a clear base, and if you don't want to add any oils that are colored, you could just find oils or carrier oils that are best suitable for you. And if you see these little boats that I have, they're called whey boats. So in chemistry and just formulating, we use these boats to accurately measure and weigh our ingredients. They come in small, medium, and large, and they're extremely helpful. And they're just plastic, and you know they're disposable. Next, we'll add in our Volip, which is our lip plumper. Following that, we will add in our rose hip oil. Okay, so that's that. And you could use this basically as a base. What I will say about using Volip or something like that, you really need to use propeller agitation when incorporating into your product. So that means just a little propeller stir. I don't have that right now. Some stuff got lost in transit because of the current pandemic going on, but you could use that. But you really have, since I've used it before, I know it, but you really have to make sure you mix your product in, because of that product. Volip really needs to be well incorporated into your mixture. So as you can see, it has the perfect consistency of gloss, and I will do a swatch for you. But this is the consistency that works for me and what I was going for. Now, if I felt like it was too thick, I would adjust by adding just a dash more of rosehip oil according to its usage. Rosehip has a recommended usage from 1 to 100%, but polyisobutane has a recommended usage of 1 to 50%. And in our formula, we are not quite there yet, but we don't want to add too much, because hydrogenated polyisobutane, if you add too much, it could really add too much slip to your product, and just adding a little bit more could really ruin your formula. So it just takes some time to play around with it. You could even do that if you are making your own at-home formula or anything you wanted to do for yourself. So for me, it just works out. You want your gloss to not really be sticky or too tacky, but just right. Not too oily, but just right. Here we started with, for our micas, as you can see here, I just put them in our whey boat. These are the micas that we're using here. I have red violet, and this red violet gives you that duochrome holographic look. It's an excellent color if you're looking for that iridescent purple shift look with a little bit of blue. I've used periwinkle pink. I like to call it baby's breath because it looks pink inside, but it turns blue when you actually put it on. And this, if you are looking for like that pale, pretty, shifty, bluish, pinkish color, that's periwinkle pink. I guarantee you it'll be a best seller for you if you incorporate that. Next, I use Sweetheart Rose because I didn't want to use any type of oxide for this. I wanted to darken the color naturally, and Sweetheart Rose is this really beautiful magenta, pure magenta color that you see here. I personally love it. Even if it's alone, Sweetheart Rose is just, it's Sweetheart Rose. It's perfect. And that is the color. And with these samples that I got from Just Pigments, I mean, you can make so many glosses with just that sample. Last but not least, I have my inference colors. I wanted to use Superstar Shimmer Blue and Violet because these are the reflex that are in my micas, but also they just give you that glittery look, and in the light they look amazing. Superstar Shimmer, the line, they have Superstar Shimmer green, blue, violet, red, and gold. They look amazing. If you've been looking for that thing about your gloss that'll make it stand out, they're amazing. Companies like MAC, if you ever have those MAC lip glasses with the glitters or whatever in them, those are inference. Those are inference reflex. Even in MAC's, like their eyeshadows and their pigments that they have, I don't know if they still sell them, but they're inference colors in those to give them that oomph. So not really glitter, but the different macron size of the inference colors. Last but not least, I have Flash Violet. So we would have Superstar Shimmer Violet, or you would have Superstar Shimmer, you would have Flash, series of Flash, and then you have Pearl. Pearl is more opaque. It gives you that pearly white color that you would see like in a nail polish. Flash is like Flash. It's more of an iridescent. It's a good blend between a Superstar Shimmer and a Pearl. It's not gonna opacify your color too much, but it's just gonna make it just right. So those are the ones we'll use for the first set. Then for the second half, switch it up a bit. One thing in this industry is you always want to be a season ahead, just like in the perfume industry. And I wanted to make like a fall color with one of my favorite micas of all time, which is Dark Star Blue Mauve. This is a shifting color, and it looks purple, but it gives off this blue tone, and that is this color here towards the top of the way boat. I hope you all can see that. I'm sorry if it doesn't pick up on camera because of my lighting. I've also added Black Pearl. If I really wanted to be just more a deeper color, I would use Black Oxide powder. Next, I use Dark Purple. This is the perfect deep plum color. It's very deep. I personally love it. That's this second color on the inside. And I added Superstar Shimmer Violet because I want a little bit of reflex in that combination. So I will finish off my base of the formula by adding in my vitamin E tocopherol acetate. I'm adding in my flavoring oil, and I'm also adding in my preservative. So my phenol SA. If you don't have that, you can use preservative cap 2, and TK Retrading has preservative cap 2. And again, there are many others, but that's just a comparable preservative that you could, a good substitute that you could use. So I'm just gonna mix that in really well and incorporate that, and then I'm gonna split this into half. I actually created the first colors earlier, and this is what it looks like. So it's a really pretty iridescent pink. these two colors, I just took my base formula and I separated them into the two weigh boats just so we can make our ingredients. This amount of mica might be a little bit too much, but just for the example, I don't mind. I'm using a glass stir rod and I'm just pouring everything in our weigh boat. Of course, if I was just doing a larger batch, I wouldn't mix it in the weigh boat, but for what we have going on today, it's no harm. No harm done. No harm done. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it slowly. It's kind of hard to keep you all in the camera, but you want to fold it in. Okay, you want to fold. Okay, so already I see I need just a little bit more. Okay, so I've added in the jojoba gel, our base, with our micas. Okay, and it looks great. This is what we have thus far. It looks really nice. I love how it turned out. You can see it's the perfect consistency. Okay, so these are our two colors, and I hope you all can see, but if you look at the first darker color that we made, you can see the violet reflex, and they match perfectly with the darker color of the lip gloss. It's very pigmented. It doesn't go on clear. It goes on just as you see. Then the top color would be our pink, and the periwinkle pink is what gives it that bluish tone, and it looks really good when you blend it in. The darker color you could sell, and you could pair it with a dark lip liner, plum lip liner. Black Night Moth by MAC is a really good one. You can also put this as a topper. You can create your glosses in as toppers over a darker lipstick, matte lipstick, for a lacquered look. This pink will be really pretty over a matte, soft matte pink, and gives it that iridescent pop that we all love. So those are our two colors. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I will be coming with more. This formula and more will be in the ebook, and I'm excited to share with you. If you would like to see any other products made, let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to make them for you, because I love what we've made today. And these are two new colors you can sell. That bottom one will be hot for fall. So thank you all for watching, and enjoy.